You know, this was a great microphone when it came out. I really liked the Wave 3, but the problem was I didn't want to get rid of this. This is my pod mic, and I love my pod mic, and I love the sound of the pod mic even more so than the Wave 3. But the Wave 3 had a lot of functionality that a lot of people, including me, wanted. I got tired of dealing with all the hassle of voice meter. With the Wave microphones, you get Wavelink. Thankfully, Elgato has come up with a great solution for us XLR microphone owners, and they have introduced the Wave XLR. The Wave XLR functionally is a Wave 3, but it's not the microphone. Instead, you can take your XLR microphone, whether it's a dynamic or condenser, and put it right into the audio interface, and then you get all of that functionality. But instead, you get your lovely, trusty XLR microphone that you love dearly. And for $159, you basically get a virtual mixer, full-fledged audio interface with a professional level preamp gain up to 75 decibels. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the Wave XLR. I'll show you the features. We'll do some sound testing, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. And I want to make this full disclosure that Elgato did send me the Wave XLR. Thank you, Elgato, for giving me the opportunity to test it. They will not see this video. They're not getting a cut on it. They will see it when you see it. That's the way it is, so you will get my unbiased opinion on this. I'll also provide links below in the event that you're interested in Wave XLR. You can read up on it for yourself and then make your own decision on whether or not you want to purchase it. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So this is Wave XLR. This is the front, of course, and this is the back. You can see on the back you have a USB-C connection. This is a 9-foot USB cable. That's USB-C to USB Type A on the front. It is USB 3.0. You have a headphone monitor. This is a 3.5 millimeter. And then, of course, you have your XLR cable input. You also, on the back of this, you can see your mute button right here. That's your capacitive mute. And then on the front, you have one button. This is a multifunction knob. You can use it to adjust your gain. You can use it to adjust volume in your headphone, or you can use it to adjust your PC and monitor mix. So what you do is you just simply press it and it changes modes. This mode right here is your PC monitor. This mode right here is your gain. And this mode right here is your monitor level. It also has a capacitive mute, which I can touch here. And I can mute myself. I'm talking. One of the cool other features about this Wave XLR is you can take off this front faceplate. The faceplate is customizable. Elgato will actually be selling customized faceplates here in about a week. These customized plates come with different graphics on the front and the knob also. All right, so some of the specs of Wave XLR. It is 24-bit, 96 kilohertz sample rate. It has up to 75 dB of gain. I think 53 decibels of that is analog gain, and then you get another 22 dB of digital gain. Now, what that does for you is it helps you with power-hungry XLR microphones like the Rode PodMic or the Shure SM7B. You don't have to use an additional gain booster to get the gain that you need. Right now, I'm at perfect level for this microphone, and I'm using about 45% of the preamp gain, which is fantastic because that reduces the amount of background noise. It reduces the amount of line noise, the gain noise coming from the amp itself, and it helps just get a nice crisp and clean sound. All right, so now let's go through Wavelink, and I'll show you the UI, and I'll show you exactly how you need to get it set up for your own live stream. All right, so when you start up Wavelink, this is what it's going to be like at first. Now, there is a tutorial where you can go in and go through a wizard, and it's going to set up all your channels for you. But if you decide to bypass that, this is what you get. So your first channel is going to automatically be set to your microphone, which if you hit the down arrow there, you have your UI where you can get all your controls. Here you can change your sample rate to 48 or 96 kilohertz. Your sliders here are the same controls that you have on the front panel of your audio interface. Your mic gain here, the volume of your headphone monitor, and then your mic and PC mix. If you slide these up and down, the LEDs will move to correspond with the change that you have. Down in audio enhancements, you have your high pass filter here. You have the 80 and the 120. Now this is what the 80 hertz sound like. Shouldn't really be able to tell much of a difference because my microphone is already programmed, designed to roll off around 80 hertz, but you will hear the difference at 120. So you should hear a lot of the bass roll off there. It should be a lot thinner sounding. And personally, not my thing. I like having it off and getting some more of those sub frequencies in. And then I have clip guard and wave gain lock enabled. Of course, clip guard is where Wavelink records a parallel audio signal at a reduced decibel level, and if it detects clipping, it will replace the clip signal with the reduced level signal, which is really nice. Wave gain lock, so if you have any programs that adjust your microphone gain to get volumes louder within the program, if you enable this, Wavelink will not allow those programs to do that. And then lastly, under color settings, if you click on one of the colors you want to change, you get the standard Windows color RGB, and you can go in and you could pick a preset color. You could change the spectrum here with your little crosshair, or you can go and you could pick a screen color and choose it, and then that will change the colors on the front panel LEDs. You could do the same thing with your mute color if you want to change the mute color from the default red. And then, of course, you can save the settings within the hardware. All right, the second thing with Wavelink is you would need to go and set your channels up. Again, you could do that through the wizard as you're initially setting the program up, or you can go in now and you click on the plus sign, and you see all the virtual inputs above the line, and then all of the other sound inputs that Windows recognizes below the line. So these virtual inputs are what are generated by Wavelink. So I'm going to select System and go to Channel 3, select Music. Channel 4 will be Browser. Channel 5 will be Voice Chat. Channel 6 will be Sound Effects. Channel 7 will be Game. You get two more channels, Channel 8 and Channel 9, that you can use for, these virtual auxes. Or you could, again, select any of these other inputs that Windows recognizes. That includes microphones. So you could have, multiple microphones set in Wavelink for podcasting, that sort of thing. But the key is you got to have this Elgato Wave. You can't just plug a USB microphone into Wavelink. It kind of defeats the purpose, right? So at the bottom, you have your outputs. You have the two buses. You have your monitor mix and your stream mix. Your monitor mix, you can actually select whatever output you have here. In the case here, I've selected speakers. So I'll go back and change the level again. So back to the Wave XLR so I can hear it in my headphones. You can also mute the different outputs by selecting the speaker here. Same thing for your stream mix, as you should. And now I'm back. You can also monitor the stream mix or the monitor mix by clicking the little earlobe here. Now your stream mix, you can sit here and you can go and you can change all your different levels. It's necessary while you're listening, and you can get those different levels set perfectly for your stream mix so that when you don't have to do it when you're broadcasting. Another thing that's cool about this is you can shuffle these around. If you want to move these around, you can do that. It's really nice to be able to do that. Something that was just recently added to Wavelink. And then lastly, once you get your virtual inputs channels set, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring up the programs that you're going to want to use. So in instance here, I'm going to bring up Spotify, and you're going to want to go and click on this icon that shows the little lines here, and that's going to bring up app volume and device preferences. And what I'll do is I'll turn on Spotify and start playing, and it should show up in the list. All right, so now it's in the list, and I've already got it set to Wavelink Music. All right, so you can adjust the stream mix down. As I'm listening to it now, I've brought it down. You can get it way down there, or you can get it really loud. And then, of course, I can adjust my headphone monitor mix too if I turn that on and listen to that. And you can do the same thing for all of your other different inputs. Now, let's talk about game real quick and system. So game, there's a little bit of issue with some games that does not like using the app to volume and device preferences within Windows 10. So like Warzone, for instance, I think is one of those games where every time you start the game up, you're going to have to go in to this UI and select the virtual the game virtual input from Wavelink every single time. Now system, this is what I recommend you go into your sound settings and make Wavelink system your default output. That way Windows audio, alerts or anything that Windows is going to process will come into this Windows system. If you haven't selected a sound source that goes to a specific output, it will come into system as the default playback device is set there. So other than that, it's really simple to understand. You can link your sliders together so that they will move together. As you can see, these are set a little differently, so they move in proportion to each other. If you unlink them, then they're not related and you can move them separately. So that's your choice. That's an option that Elgato has given you inside of Wavelink, which is nice. Lastly, you have the cog here where you can click on that, and that's where you're going to check for updates to the software. You can also click the more, and that's going to bring up a file folder with all of your different licenses. All right, so now let's go in, and I want to test ClipGuard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to turn it off. I'm going to mute the music. I'm going to turn the gain way up. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to get your volume turned down. Okay, I'm going to increase the volume here, and I should start the clip here. You should hear the distortion that comes in. I can definitely hear it inside of the headphone monitor. It is really loud. This is gain turned all the way up. You can really hear it now. Now I'm going to turn the clip guard on, and you can definitely hear the difference in the level. This is with it off, and it's clipping like crazy, and this is with it on, and I'm really speaking at the same level, as you can tell, as I'm clipping it and I'm turning it off and on. So that's what ClipGuard does for you. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to test some of the noise of the preamp. I want to test the preamp gain, and I want to test any noise that may come from the mute and any audible noise that you will pick up while you're clicking on the multifunction knob. So let's go ahead and we'll hit the record. And so I'm now talking in my microphone and you can hear things. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm currently at about 45% on the gain. I'm going to turn this up now, slowly up to 100%, and you should hear the background noise come up. Also, just a note, you will start hearing my PC fans. So that's really a lot of the noise that you're going to hear. And we're here at about 60. This is about 75%. You can also hear my dryer that's way across the other room and over or in the other part of the house. If you still hear these little clicks. Also, if you like ASMR, this is a great way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to turn that back down. Now I'm going to press the mute on and off and see if there's any audible noise inside of the headset here. Hear me muting here. As I'm off and I'm back on. Okay, I don't hear any clicking from the capacitive mute, which you shouldn't. But you will notice as I click up in the gain a little bit, you will notice some clicking. I did hear that. It's not every single turn of the knob that it does it, but it's like every 2 or 3. And you can hear those clicks. So that's kind of weird. I don't know if that's software or if that's something with the hardware that's doing that. Maybe it's something they can fix with software. I don't know. But I'll definitely let Elgato know about that. Yeah, that's something else. It's not necessarily a bad thing because you shouldn't be adjusting gain a lot anyway. But it's something you do need to know about. All right, so here are some things that I really think can be improved upon with the Wave XLR. So before I do that, though, I want to say that I understand that the Wave XLR is designed specifically for streamers and content creators like YouTube, that sort of thing. But most audio interfaces in this price range of $159, at least they come with a 1/4-inch output, a balanced output that you can use for studio monitors. That is something that I wish the Wave XLR had, because I desperately need my studio monitors when I'm editing audio or like dialogue, that sort of thing. Studio monitors are a fantastic addition, and really pretty much all audio interfaces have those. So I kind of wish that the Wave XLR had those too. Another thing that I wish that Wave XLR had was a clipping indicator on the front panel. That is one thing that, again, most audio interfaces have a clipping indicator on the front that you can see. And I understand that clip guard is there, but I would still like an indicator on the front. All right, another thing that I would want Wave XLR to improve upon is the application for dual PC. Right now, it's really geared towards single PC. And if you wanted to set this up for a dual PC live stream, you would have to use some third-party software to do so. I.e., you would have to use Voicemeeter, which is what most people are trying to get away from by using Wavelink. And then you also have NDI. Now, NDI 5 just came out. The Screen Capture HX seems to work really well with it. You're actually able to select the stream bus mix as the audio input for Screen Capture HX, and then you're able to send video and audio over to your broadcast software on the Stream PC that way. It still is kind of finicky, but it does work. So that is an option for you. But what I would like to see is Wavelink incorporate NDI tools for that. That is a wonderful way to actually do this for free. It won't cost you anything. It doesn't really cost them anything, because the SDK kit to be able to implement NDI into their own software is free. So NDI is great. It's really come a long way since it first came out a few years ago, and I use it pretty much every time I live stream. All right, another thing that I would like to see Wave XLR do, and it revolves back to Wavelink, is the ability to have effects for your microphone. We need compression, we need noise gate, we need a parametric EQ, those type of things that we can tweak our own vocal and dialogue to get rid of any unwanted muddiness, any unwanted background noise, and to boost or cut any frequencies that might cause our vocal to sound terrible. Currently, you can't do that. The only way that you can get around that is to actually go into your broadcast software, and for your microphone audio, you would need to make the source the actual mic in for the Wave XLR, not the stream mix. So then you would be able to add in effects, whether it be the ones you use in OBS, in my case, I use OBS Studio, or VST plugins. Now, that's what I would really like to see happen with Wavelink, is the ability to use VST plugins. There's a wealth of free plugins out there, including the Replugs pack that you can get for free. That gives you everything that you need in terms of expanders, noise gates, EQ, compression, different types of compressors. As a matter of fact, you get single band and multi-band compression. So you can use that. You can use it for limiting. You set a nice limiter, but all those should be available inside of Wavelink. Well, those are really the big ones. There's really nothing else I could complain about. The fact that you have the integration with Stream Deck now, that you can control, Wave XLR and control Wavelink inside of Stream Deck, is fantastic. Now, look, I love Wave XLR. I think for $159, you're probably getting one of the best bang for your buck options for audio for your live stream. It gives you a professional audio interface. It gives you the functionality of Wavelink. And I don't think there's really anything that can really beat that right now for that price. And I just, I think it's a great alternative to some of the other options we have, like, Voicemeeter. All right, so here's who I would recommend buying it if you were in the market for Wave XLR. Content creators and streamers, mainly game streamers or just chatting streamers, that sort of thing, where your content does not rely on any extra microphones or that sort of thing. Wave XLR would be perfect for you. Who I don't recommend buying it is people that are doing podcasting that have multiple microphones, or people who are like musicians, that sort of thing, that are going to need some sort of 1/4 inch instrument input. That's one of the other things I kind of wish Wave XLR had, was a 1/4 inch instrument or XLR combo jack where you can use an instrument cable and you can record guitar or something like that. But unfortunately, Wave XLR just doesn't work with that. You would have to go and get a DI box, and that's another $50 to get an instrument plugged in, and it's just not worth the hassle. So, you know, if you're in the market for that, you know, I would suggest you go look at another audio interface such as Focusrite or something. But for content creators, game streamers, that's really what Wave XLR is really targeted for anyway. Go out, enjoy it. You will love it. Trust me, it's one of the best investments that you will be able to make for your live stream. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please listen, if you like content like this, I want to see you come back. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like, give me that thumbs up, and hit the bell for notifications. And you'll know when I have a video like my dual PC tutorial for Wave XLR using NDI5, which will go live here in about a week or two. And you'll know when that goes live. Other than that, I do appreciate it. If you have any questions about the Wave XLR or Wavelink, please comment below. I will be starting a stream show. It'll be a live Q&A on the YouTube channel here in a couple of weeks, and I will answer your questions live. So I will take these questions that you have in the comments and I will answer them there on that show. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch the video. And if you're still sticking around, 2 big thumbs up for you. You guys are awesome. All right, guys, have a great week. Be safe out there, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.